Shalom, my friends. Today I'm going to share the story of the most difficult and most rewarding 40 days of my life. I'm going to tell you about the time I fasted for 40 days and, in a moment of profound spiritual clarity, God revealed a money code that has since become the foundation of all my wealth. By the end of this video, you will understand this code, and you will know how to apply its principles to unlock your own financial breakthrough, without necessarily having to fast for 40 days yourself. First, let me ask you a question. What is the biggest sacrifice you have ever made to achieve a goal? Did you give up sleep, social life, or comfort? Share your story in the comments below. I'm on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers so I can spread this timeless wisdom about wealth, faith, and legacy to even more people. If you believe this wisdom should be shared, please hit that subscribe button and join this growing community of modern thinkers and future millionaires. And if you want to go deeper to get exclusive content, early access to videos, and inner circle teachings, become a channel member by clicking the join button below. Now, let's talk about fasting. In our modern world, we think of fasting as a diet, a way to lose weight. But in the Torah, fasting has always been a spiritual technology. It is a tool for subduing the body to elevate the soul. Moses fasted for 40 days on Mount Sinai before he received the 10 Commandments. Elijah fasted for 40 days before he heard the still, small voice of God. It is a practice for quieting the noise of the physical world so you can hear the wisdom of the spiritual world. Several years ago, I was at a crossroads. My business was successful, but I felt a spiritual emptiness. I had money, but I lacked clarity. I felt a calling to a higher purpose, but I couldn't hear the specifics. I decided to undertake a 40-day fast. This was not a complete fast from all food. That would be dangerous. It was what is known as a Daniel fast, based on the prophet Daniel, consuming only fruits, vegetables, and water. It was a fast from pleasure, from comfort, from the things that distract the soul. The first week was brutal. My body screamed for sugar, for caffeine, for bread. My mind was foggy. I was irritable. I thought, this is a mistake, but I persisted. By the second week, something began to shift. The physical cravings subsided, and I started to feel a new kind of clarity. My mind became sharp. My prayers felt more powerful. It was on the 33rd day of the fast that it happened. I was deep in meditation, reading the story of Jacob from the book of Genesis. I was reading the part where Jacob, having worked for his uncle Laban for 20 years, is about to leave with his family and his flocks. He makes a deal with Laban. He says, "I will take as my wages all the speckled and spotted sheep and goats, and the dark-colored lambs." Laban, being a cunning man, agrees, but then he secretly removes all the speckled, spotted, and dark animals from the flock and gives them to his own sons, leaving Jacob with only the solid-colored, pure animals. Laban thinks he has tricked Jacob, leaving him with no way to earn his wages. And then Jacob does something strange. Something that has baffled scholars for centuries. He takes fresh-cut branches of poplar, almond, and plane trees, and he peels white stripes in them, exposing the white wood. He then places these striped branches in the watering troughs where the flocks come to drink and mate. And the Bible says that when the strong, healthy animals mated in front of these striped branches, they gave birth to speckled, spotted, and striped offspring. Jacob, through a mysterious act of visual intervention, had changed the genetic code of the flock. He had created his own wealth out of nothing. As I read this, it was as if a lightning bolt went through my mind. The words on the page seemed to glow. And in that moment of heightened spiritual sensitivity from the fast, I understood. God revealed to me the Jacob Code. It is a three-part spiritual and financial principle for creating wealth in any economy under any circumstances. The Jacob Code. 1. Define your speckled sheep, vision. 2. Set up your striped branches, environment. 3. Water the strongest of the flock, focus. This code is the secret to how Jacob became exceedingly prosperous, with vast flocks, servants, camels, and donkeys. It's a blueprint for manifestation. Let me break it down for you. Part 1. Define your speckled sheep, vision. Jacob's goal was incredibly specific. It wasn't, I want some sheep. It was, I want the speckled, spotted, and dark-coloured ones. He had a crystal-clear vision of the exact outcome he desired. This is the first and most crucial step in creating wealth. You must know exactly what you want. Most people have vague desires. I want to be rich. I want to be successful. I want more money. That is not a vision. It is a wish. It has no creative power. The universe cannot deliver a vague request. You must be specific. What is your speckled sheep? Is it a specific annual income? A specific net worth? A debt-free life? A business that generates a certain amount of revenue? You must define it, write it down, make it so clear that you could describe it to a child. This specific, clear vision is the target you are giving to your subconscious mind and to the universe. The practice. Take out a piece of paper and write down your speckled sheep. What is your specific, measurable financial goal? Don't be realistic, be specific. Jacob's goal seemed impossible, but he defined it anyway. Your clear vision is the first deposit into your spiritual account. Part 2. Set up your striped branches, environment. This is the most misunderstood and powerful part of the code. Jacob didn't just hope for speckled sheep. He created an environment that would produce them. He placed the striped branches in the direct line of sight of the flock at the moment of conception. He understood that what you see, you create. What you focus on, you manifest. The striped branches are the visual and environmental cues that you intentionally place in your life to keep your vision constantly in front of you. You must create an environment that is pregnant with the reality you wish to create. If your goal is to earn $500,000 a year, what are your striped branches? It could be a vision board with images of the lifestyle that income would provide. It could be writing your goal on a sticky note and putting it on your bathroom mirror, your computer screen, your car dashboard. It could be changing your computer password to 500K now. It could be following and studying people who are already earning that income. It could be test driving the car you will buy when you reach that goal. You must surround yourself with constant, unavoidable reminders of your vision. These reminders act like the striped branches. They impress the image of your desired outcome onto your subconscious mind, especially at moments of high emotional energy, like Jacob's flock at the moment of conception. Your subconscious mind then begins to work day and night to align your actions, your thoughts, and your opportunities with that image. Let me tell you a story. A student of mine, Daniel, wanted to buy his first home. But he lived in an expensive city, and it seemed impossible. His speckled sheep was a specific type of house in a specific neighborhood costing $750,000. I taught him the Jacob Code. His striped branches became the Zillow listing for his dream house. He made it the wallpaper on his phone and his computer. Every day, multiple times a day, he would look at the pictures of that house. He would imagine his family living there. He would feel the feeling of walking through the front door. He did this for 6 months. One day, he was at a community event and struck up a conversation with a man he had never met. He mentioned his dream of buying a house in that specific neighborhood. The man smiled and said, "That's interesting. My wife and I are thinking of selling our house there, but we haven't listed it yet. It's exactly the type of house you're describing." To make a long story short, they ended up making a private deal, and Daniel bought his dream house for a price below market value. He created his environment, and the environment created his reality. Part 3. Water the strongest of the flock. Focus. This is a subtle but critical detail in the story. The Bible says that Jacob would only place the striped branches in front of the strong and vigorous animals. He would not place them in front of the weak ones. What does this mean? Jacob focused his energy and his resources on what was working. He didn't waste his time on the weak and feeble sheep that were unlikely to produce strong offspring. This is a powerful lesson in focus and the 80-20 principle. In your life, you have strong sheep and weak sheep. Your strong sheep are the 20% of your activities that produce 80% of your results. It's the one client that gives you most of your business. It's the one marketing strategy that brings in the most leads. It's the one product that generates most of your profit. Your weak sheep are the 80% of your activities that produce only 20% of your results. The time-wasting tasks, the complaining clients, the ineffective marketing efforts. To apply the Jacob Code, you must be ruthless in identifying and focusing on your strongest sheep. You must direct your energy, your time, and your capital to the things that are already working, the things that have the highest potential for multiplication. When you water the strongest parts of your business or your career, they will mate with your vision, the striped branches, and produce massive results. Most people do the opposite. They spend all their time trying to fix the weak parts of their business. They pour energy into complaining clients. They keep investing in marketing that doesn't work. They are watering the weak sheep, and they wonder why they are not getting strong results. The practice. Do an 80-20 analysis of your financial life. Where does the majority of your income come from? What activities produce the greatest results? Identify your strongest sheep. Now, how can you double down on them? How can you give them more of your focus, more of your energy, more of your resources? This focused effort is what turns a vision into a fortune. My 40-day fast revealed this code to me. It is a divine technology for creation. 1. Vision. Get crystal clear on what you want. 2. Environment. Assessing, surround yourself with constant reminders of that vision. 3. Focus. Pour your energy into the 20% of activities that produce 80% of the results. When I applied this code to my own life, everything changed. My speckled sheep was to build a global teaching platform that would reach millions. My striped branches were images of packed auditoriums, books on bestseller lists, and a map of the world on my wall. My strongest sheep was my ability to teach the Torah in a practical, life-changing way. I stopped wasting time on administrative tasks that drained me, the weak sheep, and I poured all my energy into creating content, teaching, and writing. The result is the very platform you are watching right now. Your 30-day Jacob Code Challenge. 1. Day 1. Define your speckled sheep. Write down your specific financial goal. Be bold. 2. Day 2. Set up your striped branches. Create your vision board. Change your passwords. Print out your goal and place it everywhere. Create your environment of inevitable success. 3. Day 3 to 30. Water the strongest flock. Each day, identify the number one most important activity that will move you toward your goal, your strongest sheep. And do that first, before anything else. Be ruthless with your focus. This is the code. It is not magic. It is a spiritual technology that requires discipline, focus, and faith. The fast was the key that unlocked the revelation for me. But the principles are universal. You don't have to fast for 40 days to apply them. You have a choice. You can continue to wander in the wilderness of vague desires and unfocused effort. Or you can become like Jacob. You can define your vision, create your environment, focus your energy, and command your reality to bend to the will of God that is working through you. Create your code, live by it, and watch as you become exceedingly prosperous. Shalom, and may you manifest the flocks you envision. Rosi. Let me share 3 more stories of people who applied the Jacob Code and created wealth in ways they never imagined possible. Story number 1. The real estate agent who was struggling. I worked with a real estate agent named Leah. Leah had been in the business for 5 years, but she was barely making ends meet. She was working 60-hour weeks, chasing every lead, but she couldn't seem to close deals. She was exhausted and discouraged. I taught her the Jacob Code. I asked her, Leah, what is your speckled sheep? What is your specific measurable goal? She thought about it and said, I want to close 24 deals this year, averaging $300,000 each, for a total of $7.2 million in sales volume. I said, Good, that's specific. Now, set up your striped branches. What will you surround yourself with to keep that vision in front of you? Leah created a vision board with pictures of the homes she wanted to sell, the commission check she would earn, and the lifestyle she would live. She made it the wallpaper on her phone. She wrote her goal on a sticky note and put it on her bathroom mirror. Every morning, she would look at it and say, I am a top-producing agent. I closed 24 deals this year with ease and joy. Then I asked her, what are your strongest sheep? What 20% of your activities produce 80% of your results? She realized that her highest value activity was networking and building relationships with past clients and referral partners. But she had been spending most of her time on low-value activities like cold calling and door knocking. I told her, focus on your strongest sheep. Spend 80% of your time on networking and relationships. Cut out the rest. Leah committed to the Jacob Code. Within 3 months, she started seeing results. Past clients were referring her to friends. Referral partners were sending her leads. She closed more deals in those 3 months than she had in the previous year. By the end of the year, she had closed 28 deals, exceeding her goal. Her income had tripled. She told me, "Rabbi, the Jacob Code didn't just change my business. It changed how I think. I stopped chasing and started attracting. I stopped working harder and started working smarter." Story number 2. The freelance writer who couldn't break through. I counseled a freelance writer named Nathan. Nathan was talented, but he was stuck at a low income level. He was charging $50 per article and struggling to find clients. He felt like he was never going to make it as a writer. I taught him the Jacob Code. I asked him, "Nathan, what is your speckled sheep?" He said, "I want to earn $10,000 a month as a writer." I said, "Good. Now set up your striped branches." Nathan created a vision board with images of successful writers, screenshots of $10,000 invoices, and pictures of the life he would live with that income. He changed his email signature to Nathan, last name, 10K per month writer. Every time he sent an email, he was reminding himself and declaring to the world his new identity. Then I asked him, "What are your strongest sheep? What type of writing do you do best, and what clients pay the most?" He realized that his best work was writing long-form content for tech companies, and those clients paid 10 times more than the blog posts he had been writing. But he had been afraid to pursue those clients because he didn't think he was good enough. I told him, "Focus on your strongest sheep. Stop taking low-paying blog post gigs. Pursue only high-paying tech clients." Nathan committed. He updated his portfolio to showcase only his best tech writing. He reached out to 20 tech companies with a personalized pitch. Within 2 weeks, he landed his first client at $500 per article. Within 2 months, he had 3 retainer clients paying him a combined $8,000 per month. Within 6 months, he was consistently earning over $10,000 per month. He told me, "Rabbi, the Jacob Code gave me permission to focus on what I'm best at and to charge what I'm worth. I stopped being a generalist and became a specialist, and the money followed." Story number 3. The retired couple who wanted to travel. I met a retired couple, Martin and Ruth. They had saved for retirement, but they felt like they didn't have enough money to do the things they dreamed of, like traveling the world. They felt stuck. I taught them the Jacob Code. I asked them, "What is your speckled sheep? What is your specific goal?" They said, "We want to take a 3-month trip to Europe, visiting 10 countries, staying in nice hotels, and not worrying about money." I said, "Good. How much will that cost?" They did the research and said, "About $30,000. I said, "Okay, that's your speckled sheep. Now set up your striped branches." They created a vision board with pictures of the Eiffel Tower, the Colosseum, the canals of Venice. They printed out a map of Europe and marked the 10 countries they would visit. They put it on their refrigerator. Every day they would look at it and imagine themselves on that trip. Then I asked them, "What are your strongest sheep? What assets or skills do you have that could generate income?" They realized they had a spare bedroom in their house that they never used. I suggested they rent it out on Airbnb. They were hesitant at first, but they decided to try it. Within the first month, they made $1,500. They were shocked. They realized they had been sitting on an income-producing asset and never used it. They committed to renting it out for 2 years. At $1,500 per month, that was $36,000, more than enough for their dream trip. 2 years later, they took their 3-month trip to Europe. They told me, "Rabbi, the Jacob Code showed us that we already had the resources we needed. We just had to focus on our strongest sheep." The spiritual principle of enough. One of the most powerful lessons from the Jacob story is the principle of enough. Jacob didn't take all the sheep. He only took the speckled, spotted, and dark ones. He left the rest for Laban. He knew that he didn't need everything. He just needed enough. This is a radical concept in our culture of more. We are taught to want more, to accumulate more, to never be satisfied. But the Torah teaches a different way. It teaches the principle of dayenu. It would have been enough. When you apply the Jacob Code, you are not trying to take everything. You are defining what is enough for you. What is your speckled sheep? What is the specific amount of wealth, the specific lifestyle, the specific goal that would be enough? This clarity is liberating. It frees you from the endless treadmill of more. It allows you to focus, to be strategic, to create what you actually want instead of chasing an undefined, ever-moving target. The Kabbalistic meaning of speckled and spotted. In Kabbalah, the speckled and spotted sheep represent diversity and uniqueness. They are not the pure, solid-colored sheep. They are the ones that stand out, that are different. This is a powerful metaphor. Your wealth will not come from being like everyone else. It will come from embracing what makes you unique. Your speckled sheep are the goals, the dreams, the visions that are uniquely yours. Not what society says you should want. Not what your parents want for you, not what your friends are doing, but what is true for you. When you define your speckled sheep, you are declaring your uniqueness. You are saying, "This is what I want. This is who I am. This is my path." And the universe honors that declaration. Common mistakes people make when applying the Jacob Code. Let me warn you about 3 common mistakes people make when trying to apply the Jacob Code, so you can avoid them. Mistake number 1, vague vision. People say things like, "I want to be rich," or "I want to be successful." That is not a speckled sheep. That is a vague wish. You must be specific. How much money? By when? What does success look like? Define it so clearly that you could describe it to a child. Mistake number 2, weak striped branches. People create a vision board, look at it once, and then forget about it. That's not how it works. Your striped branches must be unavoidable. They must be in your face, multiple times a day, every day. If you're not seeing your vision constantly, you're not setting up your striped branches correctly. Mistake number 3, watering the weak sheep. People spend all their time and energy on things that don't work. They keep trying to fix the broken parts of their business. They keep investing in strategies that produce minimal results. You must be ruthless. Identify your strongest